Caspian-episode 26.
Wherefore we most heartily provoke, challenge, and defy your lordship to the said combat of Monomachy, and have sent these letters by the hand of our well-beloved and royal brother Edmund, sometime High King under us in Narnia, Duke of Lantern Waste and Count of the Western March, Knight of the Noble Order of the Table, to whom we have given full power of determining with your lordship all the conditions of the said battle, given at our lodging in Aslan's Howe this 12th day of the month Green Roof in the first year of Caspian, 10th of Narnia. That ought to do, said Peter, drawing a deep breath. And now we must send 2 others with King Edmund. I think the giant ought to be one.
He's not very clever, you know, said Caspian.
Of course not, said Peter, but any giant looks impressive if only he will keep quiet, and it will cheer him up. But who for the other?
Upon my word, said Trumpkin, if you want someone who can kill with looks, Reaper-Cheap would be the best.
He would indeed, from all I hear, said Peter with a laugh, if only he wasn't so small. They wouldn't even see him till he was close.
Send Glenstorm, sire, said Truffle Hunter. No one ever laughed at a centaur.
An hour later, 2 great lords in the army of Myraz, the Lord Glozell and the Lord Sopispian, strolling along their lines and picking their teeth after breakfast, looked up and saw coming down to them from the wood the centaur and giant Wimblewether, whom they had seen before in battle, and between them a figure they could not recognize. Nor indeed would the other boys at Edmund's school have recognized him if they could have seen him at that moment. For Aslan had breathed on him at their meeting, and a kind of greatness hung about him.
What's to do? Said the Lord Glozell. An attack?
A parley, rather, said Sopispian. See, they carry green branches. They are coming to surrender, most likely.
He that is walking between the centaur and the giant has no look of surrender in his face, said Glozell. Who can he be? It is not the boy Caspian.
No, indeed, said Sopispian. This is a fell warrior, I warrant you, wherever the rebels have got him from. He is, in your lordship's private ears, a kinglier man than ever Myraz was. And what mail he wears! None of our smiths can make the light.
I'll wager my Depley Pomley he brings a challenge, not a surrender, said Glozell.
How then, Sopispian? We hold the enemy in our fist here. Myraz would never be so harebrained as to throw away his advantage on a combat.
He might be brought to it,
said Glozell in a much lower voice.
Softly, said Sopispian. Step a little aside here, out of earshot of those sentries. Now, have I taken your lordship's meaning aright?
If the king undertook wager of battle, whispered Glozell, why, either he would kill or be killed.
So, said Sopispian, nodding his head.
And if he killed, we should have won this war.
Certainly, and if not?
Why, if not, we should be as able to win it without the king's grace as with him. For I need not tell your lordship that Myraz is no very great captain. And after that, we should be both victorious and kingless.
And is it your meaning, my lord, that you and I could hold this land quite as conveniently without a king as with one?
Glozell's face grew ugly.
Not forgetting, said he, that it was we who first put him on the throne, and in all the years that he has enjoyed it, what fruits have come our way? What gratitude has he shown us?
Say no more, answered Sopispian. But look, here comes one who fetches us to the king's tent.
When they reached Myraz's tent, they saw Edmund and his 2 companions seated outside it and being entertained with cakes and wine, having already delivered the challenge and withdrawn while the king was considering it. When they saw them thus at close quarters, the two Telmarine lords thought all three of them very alarming. Inside, they found Myraz, unarmed and finishing his breakfast. His face was flushed, and there was a scowl on his brow.
"There!"
he growled, flinging the parchment across the table to them.
"See what a pack of nursery tales our jackanapes of a nephew has sent us."
"By your leave, sire," said Glozelle, "if the young warrior whom we have just seen outside is the King Edmund mentioned in the writing, then I would not call him a nursery tale, but a very dangerous knight."
"King Edmund! Pah!" said Myraz. "Does your lordship believe those old wives' fables about Peter and Edmund and the rest?"
"I believe my eyes, your majesty," said Glozelle. "Well, this is to no purpose," said Myraz. "But as touching the challenge, I suppose there is only one opinion between us." "I suppose so indeed, sire," said Glozelle.
"And what is that?"
asked the king.
"Most infallibly to refuse it," said Glozelle. "For though I have never been called a coward, I must plainly say that to meet that young man in battle is more than my heart would serve me for. And if, as is likely, his brother the High King is more dangerous than he, why, on your life, my lord king, have nothing to do with him." "Plague upon you!" cried Myraz. "It was not that sort of counsel I wanted. Do you think I am asking you if I should be afraid to meet this Peter, if there is such a man? Do you think I fear him? I wanted your counsel on the policy of the matter, whether we, having the advantage, should hazard it on a wager of battle."
"To which I can only answer, your majesty," said Glozelle, "that for all reasons the challenge should be refused. There is death in the strange knight's face."
"There you are again," said Myraz, now thoroughly angry. "Are you trying to make it appear that I am as great a coward as your lordship?"
"Your majesty must say your pleasure,"
said Glozelle sulkily.
"You talk like an old woman, Glozelle," said the king. "What say you, my lord Sir Caspian?"
"Do not touch it, sire," was the reply. "And what your majesty says of the policy of the thing comes in very happily. It gives your majesty excellent grounds for a refusal without any cause for questioning your majesty's honor or courage."
"Great heaven!" exclaimed Myraz, jumping to his feet. "Are you also bewitched today? Do you think I am looking for grounds to refuse it? You might as well call me a coward to my face."
The conversation was going exactly as the two lords wished, so they said nothing.
"I see what it is,"
said Myraz, after staring at them as if his eyes would start out of his head.
"You are as lily-livered as hares yourselves, and have the effrontery to imagine my heart after the likeness of yours. Grounds for a refusal indeed, excuses for not fighting. Are you soldiers? Are you Telmarines? Are you men? And if I do refuse it, as all good reasons of captaincy and martial policy urge me to do, you will think, and teach others to think, I was afraid. Is it not so?"
"No man of your majesty's age," said Glozelle, "would be called coward by any wise soldier for refusing the combat with a great warrior in the flower of his youth."
"So I'm to be a dotard with one foot in the grave, as well as a dastard," roared Myraz. "I'll tell you what it is, my lords, with your womanish counsels, ever shying from the true point, which is one of policy. You have done the very opposite of your intent. I had meant to refuse it, but I'll accept it. Do you hear? Accept it. I'll not be ashamed because some witchcraft or treason has frozen both your bloods."
"We beseech your majesty,"
said Glozelle, but Myraz had flung out of the tent, and they could hear him bawling out his acceptance to Edmund. The two lords looked at one another and chuckled quietly.
"I knew he'd do it if he were properly chafed," said Glozelle, "but I'll not forget he called me a coward." it shall be paid for.